Traveling around Europe in summer can sometimes feel like shopping at the mall on Black Friday. You got big crowds, long lines, and you end up spending a lot more money than you anticipated. Over 200 million people will be traveling to Europe this summer, with the majority of them flocking to Europe's hotspots, like Paris, Rome, London, Greece, and Barcelona. While those cities are incredible and still worth visiting, in my opinion, summer just isn't the best time to visit them. There are almost 50 countries in Europe, and I think a lot of people just don't realize how many other unique destinations exist that offer just as much charm and value as these other tourist hotspots and popular megacities. Not to mention, these places are also extremely safe, easy to travel to, and just as welcoming to visitors. Here are the top 10 places I recommend instead. Annecy, France. France certainly has its share of beautiful villages, but the lakeside town of Annecy might be the most charming of all. Novelist Mark Twain once described Lake Annecy as a miracle so enchanting it'll bring you to tears. It's only 40 minutes from Geneva, Switzerland, and an hour and a half from Lyon, so it's easy to get to, and what makes this place special is that it sits on the stunning Lake Annecy, one of the freshest and cleanest lakes in all of Europe, with a very dramatic mountain range as its backdrop. The average water temperature is around 73 degrees in the summer months, so maybe trade out Europe's crowded beaches and instead head to this stunning lake town in southeastern France. The Baltic Trio, Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius. Any of these capital cities would be worth making a trip of on their own, but since they're so close together and intercity transport is pretty straightforward, whether you rent a car or take a bus, I say you hit all three in the same trip. The charm in these Baltic countries is undeniable, with some of the most beautiful and well-preserved old towns that we've come across on our travels. It's clean, peaceful, offers great food options, and the weather during these summer months is perfect, with the average being around 70 degrees every day. If you prefer more peace and quiet, Tallinn is the most subdued out of the three. It's much more chilled out with a strong restaurant and coffee scene. With a thriving art scene and quirky Soviet heritage, Riga's got a super unique vibe with many street food festivals and urban events happening in the summertime. Be it coffee or hops, the Latvians sure know how to brew. Vilnius was also a surprise for us and very different from the gray post-Soviet city that we expected. Its narrow cobblestone streets are full of cozy coffee shops, and their traditional cuisine was really good. Definitely have to try a Zeppelin. Oh, and it was also nicknamed the G-spot of Europe. Enough said. Ljubljana, Slovenia. Slovenia is a tiny country you can drive through in like 3 hours. It's jam-packed with natural beauty. And Ljubljana, its capital, was a total curveball to me. Ljubljana is on the cutting edge when it comes to architecture, art, fashion, and cool trendy pubs. It's got that romantic fairy tale look to it. Super charming, full of history, and surprisingly affordable. There are a ton of festivals and parks, and everyone seems to be super active in the summertime exercising outdoors. Day trips out of the city are super easy, as everything feels close by. Europe guru Rick Steves described it as, "Tiny overlooked Slovenia is one of Europe's most unexpectedly charming destinations." So there you go. Krakow, Poland. We traveled around Poland in the summer of 2023, and we've spoken so highly of our experience there in our Poland video. We couldn't believe how clean, safe, and pleasant it was to travel there. It was 75 degrees every single day, and Krakow in particular stole our hearts. Let me tell you why. Krakow was the only major city in Poland that wasn't reduced to rubble during World War II. Its church spire and monument-studded old town holds its own against any European city. It also offers a pretty solid nightlife scene since it's home to one of Europe's oldest universities. I also recommend taking a few day trips from there to see the harrowing Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camps, go 500 feet underground at the Wieliczka salt mine, and explore the mountain resort Zakopane town and its hot springs. The Turkish Riviera. Now, while Turkey is technically on the border of Europe and Asia, I would highly recommend it for your next Europe trip. We have recently been to Istanbul, which has become a top-tier destination as of late and will certainly be crowded this summer. But my friends keep telling me to consider the Turkish Riviera as an alternative to, let's say, the much more packed Greek islands or Croatia's Dalmatian coast. Nicknamed the Turquoise Coast, the Turkish Riviera has clear blue water that's similar to the Greek islands and loads of beautiful beaches. It's also a lot more affordable compared to the much more popular Mediterranean destinations, which makes it a good option for budget-conscious travelers. If you go with a group of friends, consider renting a boat altogether and splitting the cost, which is definitely on our travel bucket list for 2025. Bucharest, Romania. The local culture, cuisine, and summer vibe in Bucharest will not disappoint. It is nicknamed Little Paris, which means you've got a lot of that same Western European charm here, but with little waiting times, little price tags, and little tourists. They block off their main streets in the summertime for street parties. There are a lot of outdoor free concerts. You can also take a day trip to explore the many nearby castles of Transylvania, where the landscape is absolutely stunning. Brasov is also a really cool city, which is only 3 hours away. Zagreb, Croatia. Most people that travel to Croatia in the summer spend all their time on the coast, but its capital city Zagreb definitely deserves love too. From a holistic lifestyle standpoint, this city ticked all the boxes for us. Zagreb's packed with outdoor activities in the summertime. Think vibrant food markets, bustling cafe culture, picnics in parks, and tons of street festivals. It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly what I love so much about Zagreb. Everything about the city just felt so laid back and seamless. From getting around on their blue trams to grabbing breakfast in a local square. Everyday living just feels good here. And if you want to add the Plitvice Lakes, that's only 2 hours away. Montenegro. Montenegro is a small country that's gained a lot of popularity in recent decades. It's got about 183 miles of coastline that's densely packed with charming towns and beaches. Renting a scooter or car and town hopping from Herceg Novi to Parast, around the Bay of Kotor, to Tivat, Budva, Sveti Stefan, and Petrovac is an amazing way to spend a vacation. Popular spots like Kotor Bay will definitely be crowded in the summer, especially with all the cruise ships, so I would recommend booking your lodging in a different town. Compared to Western Europe, Montenegro is also significantly more affordable in every category. Stockholm, Sweden. That cozy Scandi vibe you can picture in the winters in Stockholm couldn't be more opposite than what you get in the summer. When the sun's out in Stockholm, nobody wants to be cozy inside. As the capital of Sweden and its largest archipelago, imagine island hopping all summer long, with daylight extending well into the late night hours, mixing in time on a boat, swimming in lakes, grabbing a drink on an outdoor terrace, attending a Swedish summer festival, and hanging out with your friends, drinking and playing games in the park. You can't beat that. High five, Sweden. And a bonus tip, if you're going to pair this city with another one for your summer vacation, I would highly recommend Copenhagen, Denmark, next door. It's not that far away and also offers great vibes in the summer. Could have also added it to this list, to be honest. Malta. While a lot of popular European spots are great to visit outside of summer months, there is one tiny country in particular that I would prioritize to visit in the summer, even with all the crowds, because it's when all the local village festas happen, and that country is Malta. Malta feels very Game of Thronesy, and the fact that you can get around affordably by taking water taxis and gondolas adds further to the mystique. I would recommend going the first week of September, where you get to experience both the village festas and the annual regatta that happens on September 8th, Victory Day. The other Greek islands. If you're adamant about going to Greece this summer, then consider visiting the other Greek islands instead of Mykonos and Santorini, which you can be sure will be overrun by tourists. Islands like Ikaria, Syros, Tilos, Milos, Naxos, Paros, even Corfu could also be good if you avoid the north part where all the British people are partying. We were in Corfu in September of 2023 in a more remote part of the island and absolutely loved it. Still want to visit the popular spots? Then here's what I'd recommend. If you only have summer free to travel and still want to go to one or several of the most popular countries like France, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Greece, the UK, Ireland, then consider doing a road trip and spending the majority of your time in the smaller towns in between the big cities. We've done this in Portugal, France, and Germany, and while you won't avoid the crowds completely, it will still create a more enjoyable and authentic experience than just staying in large capital cities. Hope this video helps you out. Let us know in the comments below where you're hoping to go this summer. Safe travels.